Welcome to today's episode of the podcast. So, today's topic is about organic reach. Many of us try to post in Facebook, in other places as well, like LinkedIn, Instagram, even TikTok, try to place our kind of content that we want to promote, whether it's promoting our events, promoting our products, promoting our services, or even our NGOs, our non-profit, our charities, all the different things that we have, we want to really massively promote. The thing is, years ago when platforms like Facebook started and Instagram and MySpace and all these things, organic reach was very high. There weren't so many people in there, and there wasn't actually really so much advertising. And these platforms were growing. They wanted to have a maximum growth, at the same time not relying on the need to have advertising as a source of income, because they had investors, and this way they got the money they needed to finance their whole thing, because servers, even Facebook has to pay for its web servers, its entire infrastructure, its staff, and that's a huge amount of people, a huge amount of servers that need to be paid, traffic and everything. It's massive. So of course everything has to be paid. Even if we as users log into Facebook and don't have to pay anything for using it, we are actually paying it with our data, with our actions, with our activities. We are actually paying so that Facebook is able to use our data in order to provide this to people who are advertising. Because when I'm setting an advertisement in Facebook, I can select interests, I can select demographics. For instance, I can say I want to select women between the age of 25 to 35 who are interested in entrepreneurship and have maybe as a title, they are maybe interested as well in marketing. Then it might be that I have maybe a coaching business and I want to show them how to start their own business, let's say a marketing agency or anything like that. Then that's what I would do to advertise. At the same time, I can go and say, well, but I only want to advertise to people who are in Greater London, or people who are in Pittsburgh, or people who are in Aachen, all different areas around the world. I can select. I can even go and say, I want to only show it to people who understand English. Facebook knows if you understand English, if you understand Afrikaans, if you speak Dutch, or if you have contacts with people who speak Italian. All these things Facebook knows. And Facebook even knows whether there where you are currently, whether that's where you live, or whether you're just traveling there. Because I can go and say, well, I have a special event and I want to get everybody who's in that area. But if I am doing something that is specifically pointing at people who live there, let's say I have a window cleaning business, then I want to, of course, advertise to people who've got houses in that area. I'm not going to advertise to somebody who is just traveling on holiday or visiting people, because they don't need the windows cleaned in my area. And that's what then actually gets us to understand that organic reach has a great benefit for us if people then see it and maybe comment on it, like it and share it. And that's what usually organic reach used to do, because then I would get 25 or even up to 100 people who liked it, who saw it, reacted to it, and when they reacted, more people saw it. Until last year, we used to have a reach in Facebook of about 25 people. In 2019, we are already down to 15 people. And you must think of it, I'm scrolling down through my timeline or my newsfeed, and if I see it and I just jump over it, boom, I'm already number 1. The next person who sees it is number 2. And maybe I'm not interested in what you're posting, but the countdown counts and your 15 people are gone. But you have no proper results. Even if I like your post, it doesn't mean that other people who are connected with me will see it. If Facebook doesn't think it wants it to actively really let you see, it'll be non-beneficial. Of course, what you can do in organic reach, let's say with Facebook, you can go and tag your friends. I have some people who go and tag like 20, 50 people, some even 200 people. When I do a post sometimes, I sometimes tag as well some friends or business associates, but when it is relevant to what I'm posting. Because if I'm posting about, let's say, Infusionsoft and a new video that I've released on Infusionsoft, I'm going to tag all my business associates or my friends who are in the space or are interested in a topic or have been doing together with me an Infusionsoft project. But I'm not going to tag somebody who is maybe somewhere in a job and doesn't have to do anything with marketing, doesn't have a business or anything. It doesn't make any sense because there's no relevance to them. And that's the thing. Nowadays, it's even more difficult to get a good, proper organic reach if we don't even have any relevance. So our audience needs to have relevance, because if it is relevant, what you post, relevant to me, I will react to it. I might even comment it. I might even look at it a second time. And Facebook thinks, oh, wait a minute. That's actually maybe something really, really good. And then I should maybe show it even a few more people. That's quite a challenge when you think nowadays. You can, a long time ago, we used to have fan pages. We still have fan pages. But at the beginning, when they were introduced, it was an idea to get people, whether it was business owners or clubs or speakers, coaches, and so on, to get everybody there onto those pages and drive more traffic into Facebook. Then we got Facebook groups. That was as well quite a nice thing. But all these things are dropping in organic reach. And post that I post in a group still has a higher organic reach nowadays than if I just post on my timeline. Because the people, of course, get notified what's new. If my interaction is so strong with my community, then more of them will see it. So let's say I'm a coach and have maybe 5,000 people who follow me. And they actively interact with what I post, and they see it, and Facebook knows, okay, I have to show it to these people because it's really obviously very, very interesting to them. But if it's not interesting for them, they will not go and watch it, or listen to it, or see the video, or click on the link, and that. And if it's not, then Facebook will not take it as an important element. So that's where we need to try to get organic reach to make any kind of sense in regards to what we are doing, and then we need to understand what we can do to improve our organic reach. So of course there are different kinds of things that you can post. The best thing that actually performs in a social media post is a picture of yourself. But that comes then to a problem, especially if you're a business owner. What you post is as well your brand to a certain degree. So if you're posting pictures about food, that only makes sense if you have a company who makes food, delivers food, or creates food. So let's say you're a farmer, you have a restaurant, you have a grocery, a supermarket, then that's okay. It makes sense to have this food pictures because it is as well relevant to what you're doing. But if you don't have this kind of business and you post this stuff, then, and just because you went to a restaurant somewhere and you're enjoying your evening, okay, that's maybe social, but that's affecting your brand, and at the same time you are actually going to damage your own activities because people will not take you really serious. And I'm talking about the people who are actually going to buy from you. Because the friends who you have in your network, they are maybe somewhere in a job, they are maybe doing something totally different, they're not interested in what you're doing. So let's say if all your friends are vegans and you have a burger restaurant, that would be the same thing. If you post all the stuff, you can't expect that the vegans will go and go to your restaurant and eat your hamburgers. It just doesn't work. But at the same time, you have to think, okay, what can I post? How can I do this? It takes us actually to the so-called social selling. Yeah, and what is social selling? Social selling is building relationships through social networks and then getting the way to influence buyers and change makers. A change maker is, for instance, somebody who is in a business and has a certain influence on the decision. Let's say they are, for instance, the IT director and they have an influence on the purchase of a new procurement system. The procurement system is actually something from purchasing department or the CEO. But if the IT guy says, hey, that's a good solution and we can integrate it with our platforms and with all our existing infrastructure, the CEO might be more inclined to buy your product than if it were not integratable. So what can you do to improve things? You have to post more often, but it has to be interesting, attractive, and you have to get people to engage. Well, that's quite a challenge nowadays when you think only 15 people might see your post. Whatever you do, then it's a lot of work with very little results. You can, of course, post the stuff in a group. You can try to get people first into a group and then get them there. You can go into other Facebook groups and then post there, but eventually you will be spamming people. They might throw you out of the group. And that might be just a short-lived success of getting in and posting something and then getting checked out again. It's not going to help you very much. On the other hand, what could you do? Well, Facebook wants, of course, you to advertise. And that's where the problem starts for most business owners. How do I advertise? How much budget do I really need? What strategy do I have to use? And that's really not that simple. There are lots of courses out there that I've tried as well myself on online advertising and coaching funnels and product funnels and trip sales and all kind of stuff, whether they're related or not related to all sorts of marketing platforms. The key thing is many of these things were produced several years ago, but they're not being actively updated to the reality. The reality is that in certain niches, certain areas, and as well as certain countries, the cost per lead has massively grown. Just look at what an advertisement will cost you inside Europe or North America. In some areas and at some times you can have a cost per lead of $1.80 if you are lucky. Sometimes it might be just 20 cents, but in many cases it will go way beyond $8. It can be $20, $35. I've even seen in some cases where a promotion is running nicely, collecting 60 or 80 leads a day for maybe 50 cents. Then somebody else puts a lot of money in to massively advertise something else, and within one day, your cost per lead jumps from maybe $1 to $35. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, you're thinking, okay, I need maybe 200, 500 more leads, and these leads are leads. Doesn't mean that they're already going to buy. You still have to do some more nurturing and so on until you can get them. But at a certain cost per lead, your business model, depending on what niche you are, won't work. So that's the thing. Nowadays, even if you're trying to sell products for $7 or $11 on Facebook, that will produce massive problems if you are hoping to get the money back by just selling that $7 product. It will not work in most Western countries because the ads cost, the competition is so massive that you need to have a product or a service that is higher in value. So let's say nowadays they say about $250 above should be an ideal price. Of course, as you grow in your price tag, the more people you lose. Because of course, many people can afford a $7 product. Some might even spend $100. Some people on the other hand might not be willing to spend $250, $500, $1,000, $10,000. And that's the thing. You have to then filter out your ideal audience who will be more inclined to buy your offer at the price that you're offering. Because if, let's say, you are wanting to offer a coaching package, for instance, these coaching packages that you have for many coaches will cost can be between $1,000 to $5,000 or even $10,000 or $20,000 depending what it is. But let's take an average of about $1,000 to $5,000. So when you compare that with the $7 offer, we are actually advertising in the same market. We are advertising for the same product. Of course, many people can afford $7 compared to $5,000. But how many people are really going to buy a $7 product? That's the thing. It's affordable and willingness. Those are two key factors that make that a really problematic thing. And that's why when you look at it, organic reach, I post something, people see it and then don't interact. If I want to really be aggressive in a way that I actually promote something, I can't do it with organic reach, so I have to advertise. And a $7 product will just not really perform unless I have a funnel that is proven, that is working, that is 100% perfect, and I know that once they've bought the $7, they will upsell maybe to a $47 product, and then later on, 1 week later, maybe I can upgrade to a $250 and so on. If that continues and get other people to sign in, I might be able to get the money that I spend on advertising back and even make a profit. But if I don't have anything to upsell and the product I'm offering at $7 is maybe not attractive enough, not strong enough, then people will not buy. But I'm still paying a lot of money for advertising. So if we have a product, as I said, as example, a coaching product, for instance, a coaching package, let's say you're selling a coaching package where you coach somebody for 90 days for $5,000, then of course you have to think, who is going to buy that? This must be somebody who's got $5,000. But Facebook isn't going to tell you who's got $5,000. So you have to search in the interests, you have to search in demographics, as well for people who are interested in your topic. So let's say you are a fitness coach and you want to sell them a $5,000 fitness coaching program. So you have to see who is interested in fitness, who wants to have healthy food and that, and then say, okay, what age? Must be an age that has $5,000 to spend. So maybe take somebody above age of 30, somebody maybe under the age of 55. Then you might have a good age range. Maybe you even go up and say 35 to 54 age range. Gender, well, you could take male and female, or you can do two different ads and run one for women and one for men. use different pictures as well, because women react to pictures differently than men. Some years ago, I did some tests, which was quite interesting. I tested in different regions of the UK, for instance, different ads with different pictures and as well different color backgrounds. And it's crazy. The people in Manchester, the people in Birmingham, in Liverpool, and in London, they all have different tastes. And there's always a trend to one direction. And it's so interesting because you think, okay, this picture is performing perfectly in London. Boom. Manchester? No. But those pictures that the people in Manchester and the people in London prefer are not performing well in Liverpool. Because the people have different cultures regionally. Even if it's the same country, they have different interests. The same thing, take the same advertisement test and advertise in, let's say, in New York, in Miami, in Fort Myers, Los Angeles, and Dallas. You'll have totally different reactions, different trends. And you'll have always a different picture that the people like most. And that's crazy, because it's just different cultures, different attitudes, different local preferences. Even the environment, the weather, the time of the year affects the way people react. So marketing can be standardized to a certain degree, but it means always that you have to focus and find what you're doing. At the same time, you can play the game of organic reach by using advertising. So you actually run an advertisement and then you try to interact with the people who like your advertisements. And that's really great, because I've had some engagement advertising that got, for instance, on one ad, it got over 800 likes within 4 days. That's crazy. 800 likes in 4 days. And that in a small region. And then I could go and interact with them, and people were commenting, and it was great interaction. And that increases as well the credibility of the ad. It reduces the cost of the ad and makes it even easier to collect leads. But then you still have to engage with them. But you've got in contact with them. And then it's playing the game of organic content. That's what actually then generates for you quite a great opportunity to provide value. Like now, you're listening to this podcast. I'm giving you insights of organic reach and marketing, how you can do advertising that. I'm not explaining to you in detail how you have to design your advertisement. That's something that one would have to do in a total separate topic, because that goes deep in. But it gives you an overview what you have to do in order to play the game between organic reach and the necessity for advertising. Because if you only focus on organic reach, it'll be very, very difficult for you to actually achieve something. And the thing is, for us as business owners, we need the numbers game. We need enough leads. We need enough buyers to make the business profitable. Because in the end, we have to produce the product or deliver the services. We have to have the advertising. We have to pay maybe staff, accounting, and all different things. Everything has to be paid. Even our office venue has to be paid. So we have to have a profitable business. And if we just only rely on organic reach because of what we post, that is not going enough. It can help us survive, but not thrive. That's the core thing. So in the next podcast, I'll be talking about social selling, and I hope you will be enjoying it. Check in. I think the next one is tomorrow, as far as I understand, and then you will enjoy that. I'll be talking about how you can collect leads, how you can generate revenue as well, and one of the upcoming topics is as well sales funnels. So have a great day, and See you and hear you soon.